Berserker Esports, they have had a rough go here. They have had a rough season in WTL. They are towards the bottom of the standings, but they still have a couple of matches left, and they are still willing to throw down here amongst the best teams, amongst the best players out there, and I wish them the best of luck as they're going to be going up against KaiZi Gaming. Meanwhile, before we get too ahead of ourselves, a massive shout out to Steadfast. Oh, I hope everything is okay. I know Steadfast, he was casting, or he's typically one to cast these tournaments, cast WTL. So I hope everything is okay. I hope the internet is all good and all that stuff. Welcome everyone, welcome to the second series here of WTL. Of day number 3 of round number 10. And here we go. The first matchup is going to be Spatz versus Oliveira. And this was an interesting one. God, the WTL admins, they are so brutal. They are so brutal here with Oliveira. They do rank him and they do rate him as a B tier player, which I think is... they're so harsh. They're so harsh because Oliveira, you know, he has been dropping a couple of maps here and there. He hasn't been as dominant as he was at the start of the year, of course. But to knock him down to B... shaking my head. Shaking my head. As Oliveira is going to be going up against Spatz. Spatz, of course, the ace player of Berserker Esports. Spatz has actually been looking not too bad here amongst his opponents. We have had a lot of really entertaining games brought out by Spatz. But it is still going to be an uphill battle. I want to believe, though. I want to believe that Spatz can bring it here to the world champion. Let's go. As we are diving into this and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner for Berserker Esports, it is Spatz. And in the top right for KaiZi Gaming, we have Oliveira. Not even A tier. Aye. But yeah, I was kind of hoping for an answer, but if you're coming in from Steadfast's stream, again, I hope everything went well. Don't know if maybe something else had come up or anything like that, but yeah, shout out to Steadfast. He's another community caster out there. You know, there are quite a lot of us. There's Steadfast, there's Biomov, Chicken Man, Dave Testa, ourselves, and many others. Renegade X Studios, a lot of community casters out there, really invested and passionate about StarCraft. All of us kind of going our own way, and we all are, of course, involved in different projects, and yeah, we try to support each other as best we can. Thank you so much to Steadfast, really do appreciate it. Check out his channel, as again, there is plenty of casting going on over on Steadfast's channel as well. Oof. I do take pride in in how much we're able to cast, but you know, we're typically asleep when it comes to the European events, and that is where Steadfast does jump in. I know famously Steadfast, he goes for the marathon cast of ESL Open Cup EU into NA. Always very impressive stuff. We're asleep for EU. We're in bed. It's late. As we are getting into this TVP, so far nothing too crazy. Oliveira does go for a double gas opener, as to be expected in this matchup. With this, he's going to be going into a faster factory as well, so a much more, again, aggressive opener, less so economic than we otherwise would see from a Rex Expand, for example. As the first Reaper is not just going to be cleaning up that probe, but also scouting the edges of the map, making sure that there's no shenanigans going on, making sure that Spatz isn't trying to sneak out with something like a proxy starport, or Stargate even. Meanwhile, Spatz, we now see his tech of choice as he defends back at home and swats away that Reaper. It is not going to be a Stargate opener, thank God. For what we've seen from Spatz, he's a lot more of an active player and a lot more of an aggressive player, and I always do appreciate that. He is going to be going for the Twilight Council instead, and as he gets into that Twilight Council, a massive shout out to the sponsors of WTL of Season 5, Doyu, Hypergriff, TGI Fridays, Tidal, and Rio de Janeiro. Again, you know what? Without all this stuff, casters like ourselves, like Steadfast, like Wardy, we wouldn't be able to cast anywhere near as much high quality StarCraft because the matches are always insane, they're always beautiful, they're always what we want. Oh. As yeah, Spatz just getting ready back at home, throwing down additional gateways. So far, I believe that is the second gateway, so this is looking like a Twilight Council opener into an expand off of 2 gates. Oh, the probe is going to be going down, so a nice little delay there from Oliveira. Is going to slow down the third base of Spatz. Meanwhile, of course, we do still have Blink on the way. If I'm not mistaken, I believe we still only have 2 gates. We haven't seen any kind of gateway explosion behind this. either a third or a fourth gate. Stalkers still being quite active though, going to be hunting down whatever they can. As the medevac drop does manage to slip by, but no, Spatz does have eyes on this. Oh, he's going to be taking a lot of hits though. Oliveira, he wants that Stalker. Won't quite be able to get it as he does back off. But at least Spatz, he has the heads up. Blink's still not done, unfortunately, but he is able to swat away this medevac. Oh, he is going to buy himself some time to prepare it back at home as Warp Gate is on the way. And hold on, and now I got to squint at the minimap. Did I miss some gateways? We have one gate at the natural. We have two in the main? No, one in the main. Yeah, okay, there we go. I was like, where's the third base? We still don't have any additional gateways. These are very delayed, but there is the third and fourth gateway. So it is a 4-gate opener here from Spatz. Just again, a little bit more delayed than we're used to. I'm sure the goal for this was that he wanted to clean up the Reapers and clean up all the vision, the scouting information of Oliveira before really committing, hoping to maybe even try to feed Oliveira some false information and make him believe he wanted to go for an expansion. Ooh, as the observer across the map is spotted, does go down. Oliveira doesn't go for the mine drop, but he does have the mines covering the third base location, so he knows about the 2-base play. He knows that it should either be a 3-gate or a 4-gate Blink Stalker push here. Oh! Oof. This probe is going to be delayed. Spatz is going to be that much more committed across the map as well. He does have high ground vision thanks to that prism. But the tanks are ready for him. We have one tank at the natural, one tank in the main. Bunker as well. And Spatz is, yeah, he's having a hard time finding damage. Spatz, because of those Widow Mines, he's forced to expand towards his opponent. Does take the center base. Oh, the tank is looking exposed. He will be able to bring it down. The tank falls. Stim is looking exposed. Spatz could try and go for it. For the time being, he's being zoned away by these Marines. The boys are being pulled as well. Oliveira knows he just doesn't have enough firepower to really go toe-to-toe with this. Oh, as we do force a recall. 2 Stalkers go down just barely. Overall, not a bad trade for Oliveira. He lost a tank, sure, he lost some SCVs, but because he forced the recall, now he has so much more breathing room. Now he can really get into Stim and really establish himself. Meanwhile, across the map, Spatz did expand. Again, it's a bit more of an exposed base, unfortunately. He did take the center base as his third, and it can definitely be abused. Of course, you can harass it from the low ground. Your tank positions can be insane. Not too sure if Oliveira is aware of it. Oh, as the Viking comes out, and we just recalled the army. Ay, ay, ay. A big loss here for Spatz. You can see him shake his head on the camera as well. We didn't have a recall available, and yeah, this prism is going to be hunted down. As I say that, though, actually, Spatz gets away. Oh. I'm pretty sure even Spatz expected that prism to go down, but no, it manages to bypass the Viking and gets out of there. There you go. So that could have been a lot worse. Definitely could have been a lot worse here for Spatz. Does manage to escape. Meanwhile, at the same time, Oliveira sneaking out across the map with his Raven for some auto harass, but oh, the Stalkers are in position and the Raven does take a lot of hits. Thankfully, the Raven does survive as Oliveira moves out across the map. Is Spatz in position? A lot of supply is tied up in the main base because of that Raven. Thankfully, there are a couple units here on the front lines, and oh, we do dive on top of that tank. Hot pickup does save them. Oliveira going to be able to hold on to those tanks, goes for the scan, snipes that observer. Spatz is going to have a hard... never mind. I was going to say Spatz is going to have a harder time keeping up with the army, but there is an observer here in the center of the map. Spatz sees everything. He sees, he knows, as Oliveira goes for a little bit more auto harass in the main. Going to be able to pick off a couple of those probes. Bit of a delayed reaction out of Spatz. 4 probes go down. Oh, and oh my god, I was curious as well because of the pathing of those Widow Mines. Oliveira doesn't know where the third is. Oh my god. He doesn't know. At the same time, the Prism comes back into the main base. A good amount of economic damage is being done. 6 SCVs do go down. The Prism does survive. For all Oliveira knows, his opponent's 2-base all-inning. Ay, ay, ay. Again, Oliveira did rotate over, expecting to see a Nexus. As he dives on top of the army, picks off a couple of Stalkers. Pretty good trade here for Oliveira. Force fields are going to cut up his army, but there is no splash damage. Some Marines still do survive. As Oliveira is forcing his way through. May not have been the best fight for him, but there we go. We do see a scan. He now has eyes on the base. He now knows, is aware of what's been going on. Oh, there's no shield battery. No shot, no shield batteries, no cannon, no overcharge as well. Spatz is not ready to defend this base whatsoever. And without any stack defense, I think Oliveira, he can just roll over this. Of course, the tanks are still a little bit further back. Good kiting though, as the zealots are being cleaned up. A couple more units are trickling on in, but again, Oliveira is still going to be able to clean this up, especially with those reinforcements. More mines do burrow. They take down the Immortals, and Oliveira has broken through. We do get another last-ditch warp in here from Spatz. Just trying to hold on with all he has, but he just doesn't have enough. That one Immortal doing a lot for himself in the back line, but it's one Immortal and two Zealots. That's all there is. The base will fall. Not just the base, also the workers. 11 probes go down, and Oliveira doesn't have to turn around. He can just keep on pushing. He does borrow those mines. He's getting on top of the production. Zealots are coming in from behind, but the mine shots can still go up, and they will on every single one of those Zealots. Hot pickup does save some of them. But mate, we're Spatz is fueled by copium at this point, trying to hold on, trying to trade here with an army trickling in. Behind this, Oliveira, he's got his third base up and running, fully operational. Doesn't have the most amount of SCVs, but it's up regardless. Spatz doing what he can to force back the army, juggling with those Immortals. Up. He's got 3 Immortals and a Dreamer. You know what? he loses an Immortal, unfortunately. Oliveira finally gets forced back. That's a lot of medevacs. 12 medevacs for 6 Marauders and 6 Marines. 1 for every unit. You love to see it. As Oliveira goes for a scan, he's wondering, do you have another base? Do you have a ninja base? Is that why you're still in this? What's going on? The answer is nah, mate. Spatz, he's just playing some StarCraft. It's all good. Storm on the way. That is definitely a way to come back in this game, to overcome a supply deficit. Storms can be clutch. Unfortunately, it just takes a long time to research that upgrade, and it's time that Spatz doesn't have. We see another scan. Again, Oliveira just making sure that he's aware of the situation, that there is no mining base, as he pushes on forward. There's no Dark Shrine, there's no Disruptors or anything like that. Again, Storm is really the only hope here for Spatz. That and I guess War Prism juggling? And here we go. He does go for a massive warping of those charge lots. Storm does finish up, by the way. We get some pretty good storms on the army, but the spread is even better. Oh my god. As we still have a handful of Marauders left, and a handful of Marauders is all that Oliveira needs. GG gets called. And Oliveira will take game number 1. GG. Wasn't the cleanest game, but I think a big reason for that is just because Oliveira, it took him a long time to really recognize where the third base was, and because of that, he didn't really know where to push or how to push. Like, we saw him a couple of times rotate over towards the triangular third, for example, and there was nothing to fight there. There was just nothing of value. So yeah, as a result, Oliveira, he was just working with a little bit of missing information. In the end, of course, did figure out what was going on, was committing to his push, and was able to break through the defensive line of Spatz. And once the third was broken, it was pretty smooth sailings from there. GG, well played. But now, we're getting into game number 2, and it is going to be loser's pick. It is going to be Spatz's map of choice, and we'll see what he goes for here. We'll see where he feels the most comfortable as we switch our scenes over, and my god, we've seen a lot of this today. Game 2 will be taking place on altitude. Interesting. Now, are we feeling Phoenix Colossus? I hope not. I do hope not. But Altitude, of course, is the largest map in the map pool. It's big, it's wide open, plenty of bases to be taken, and I do worry here what Spatz has in store for us and how Oliveira is going to react, and whether or not he can punish this build from Spatz if he does go for Phoenix Colossus. It's relatively greedy. There's definitely a window where the Protoss player is very vulnerable, especially to pushes involving Ravens. I'm sure Oliveira is one to make use of that. Could even try to 3-rax his opponent as well. But the rush distance by ground is really long, so it doesn't really favor that style either. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. You know, maybe I'm talking about Phoenix Colossus and then Spatz is going to come out with a proxy. Which I'm all for. I'm all for that. There's quite a common proxy proxy Stargate location over at the right-hand side of the map, or just under or above the main base of the opposing player. So yeah, we could be seeing something cheeky like that instead. We'll see. Typically, when I think of Spatz, I do think of him as being an aggressive player. I do think that he wants to be in your face. He wants to be fighting. He isn't one to turtle up back at home, which is why I wasn't really expecting Phoenix Colossus in Game 1. But Game 2, I feel like it is something that I have to bring up just in case. Oh. But I believe, Spatz. I believe. You won't lead us astray. Don't make the Phoenixes. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Again, it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of good fun. You know, keeping up with Spatz, watching him excel here, not just in WTL, but in some of the other online series as well, online matches. But here we go, spawning in the top right-hand corner for Berserker Esports. It is Spatz. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner for Dragon KaiZi Gaming, we have Oliveira. Here we go, the reigning world champion himself. I think the most unfortunate thing about Oliveira is that we just haven't been able to see a lot of him. Am I crazy? He has like a toothpick in his mouth. Where did that come from? It's long as well. It's big. I know it's really short. Sorry, it's really small on the screen right now. But yeah, he's got a toothpick. Oh my god. But yeah, unfortunately, we just haven't been able to see a lot of him. You know, it's really cool to see the international circuit come back and all these offline events. But because of visa issues, because of issues that can come up because of offline travel, Oliveira, he wasn't able to be there for ESL Masters Summer. He wasn't there at DreamHack Yongshipping. He wasn't there at Home Story Cup either. He just threw down his toothpick. But yeah, he wasn't there at Home Story Cup. It's been a really big shame. Because of that, I do think that a lot of people underrate him. I do think that, you know, time has come and gone. Well, Oliveira has come and gone. Shaking my head. And yeah, unfortunately, we just haven't been exposed to too much of him recently, and it's difficult to really gauge his skill. Every now and then he shows up in these online events like the Kung Fu Cup, for example, or KSL, or ESL Open Cup Asia. But it's few and far between, and it's a shame. I do miss him. I do wish that Oliveira had more opportunities to really showcase himself against the more international scene. I think a lot of people are overlooking him now as a result. Tis a shame. Tis a shame. But regardless, we're getting into this game, and so far Reaper does zoom across the map, is going to be wreaking a little bit of havoc here in the mineral lines, but the sentry has arrived. Sentry openers have become a little bit more common in this matchup just because of the acceleration buff, and the sentry has an easier time keeping up here with the movement of the Reaper. Despite that, one probe is going to go down. Not too bad here. Now, I believe the Reaper still hasn't seen the tech, though. I believe he hasn't been able to rotate over into the main base. So far, the Sentry and the Stalker have done a great job at zoning him away, as it is another Twilight Council opener. Let's go. No Phoenix, no Colossus, no Proxy Stargate either. Let's go. Meanwhile, back at home, we do have Oliveira setting up his natural expansion, going into a 1-1-1, and setting up for a mine drop. If you recall, in Game 1, he also did go for a mine drop. Well, he was trying to go for a mine drop, but he was denied entry into the main base. Spatz shut him down in the center of the map, and Oliveira settled for denying the third base and having the mines borrowed at the third base locations instead. Meanwhile, He's not able to flip himself over that wall. Feels bad, man. But regardless, I think Oliveira may have seen the tech. I think he had enough vision to see the Twilight Council. I could be wrong, but of course I'm not observing, so I can't see. I think he sees it though. Yeah, 100%. He's got enough vision. Oh, can he get in? Oof, unfortunately. For those wondering, it is possible for the Reaper to use the grenade to actually flip themselves over a wall if the wall is thin enough. Specifically, it has to be thin, and if it is on some of these maps, you can hop over the wall of the Protoss and get a free scout, get some economic damage done. It is what Oliveira is trying to do. It's very difficult to do, even if it's possible. So do see the 3-1-1 setup here from Oliveira. Mines were produced. And it looks like, I think that's a drop headed towards the main base. Yeah, there it is. We do have that drop headed towards the main. Not too committed, only 2 Widow Mines. But we've seen what 2 Widow Mines can do. Earlier this evening, we did cast Maru versus Nightmare. And Nightmare fell apart to the Widow Mine harass. I still remember 12 probes going down to 1 mine. Not again. Not again, Papi. Spatz is going for a more economic opener. This time it was a Twilight Council into 2 gates into a 3rd base. The additional gateways here of Spatz were delayed in favor of that 3rd nexus. So again, much more economic. And I'm pretty sure Spatz wanted to do this in game 1. I'm pretty sure he wanted to go for this, but he was denied just because of the Reaper harass and eventually the Widow Mine harass as well. So Spatz is able to spread his wings and get into his game. Really show us what he wanted to show off in game 1. As the Widow Mine is still stationed outside of the main base, we still haven't pulled the trigger. We still haven't gone for anything yet. We're waiting for the opportune moment. Here we go. The Stalkers do reveal themselves, and now Oliveira could go for the drop. He's not going for it yet. Still waiting a little bit longer. Hellion looking to distract these Stalkers. Just trying to keep them busy. My eyes are glued to that minimap. I'm looking at that medevac. As behind this, we're just building up our forces. The Raven building up energy as well for the disables, for even the anti-armor missile. They both have their place against a Protoss army, especially an army that is not going to be heavily reliant on tech units. We see Spatz throws down even more gateways, goes towards charge as well. He's not rushing into Colossus production or Robo production. He's committed here to a gateway style, a swarm toss style, if you will. Stalkers and Zealots. And here we go as the Stalkers move out across the map. We do have a drop into the main base and no reaction! No! Oh, no reaction whatsoever. 8 probes go down and the medevac survives. The Widow Mines survive to live another day, to shoot another day. Spatz is trying to do some counter damage. He's being active with the Stalkers. He picks off a Marine at the same time. Auto Tartaras here at the 3rd. Spatz is being pulled apart. 12 workers go down, almost the mineral line. Oh no, he's coming back! No! And Spatz, once again, unable to react. 17 probes go down. Spatz is committed. He dives into the main base, takes a mine shot to the face. The Zealots get annihilated, and he doesn't have enough to break into the main. Oh my god, as even more damage is being done. More auto turrets, more Widow Mines as well. Ay. Again, Spatz trying to do some damage of his own, but he was denied. Oliveira was in position. That's a lot of Zealots, though. Oh my god. It's a lot of Zealots, and Spatz, he wants to take a fight out on the map. Ideally get a surround on this bio army, but no, instead he just avoids the army entirely. He goes straight into the natural. Oh, okay, does think better of it. Force fields are thrown down. The army of Oliveira is stuck. The friendly fire. Widow Mines working in favor of Spatz. Spatz taking a good fight. Now busting into the natural. He has a lot of momentum going his way. He has a lot of Zealots going his way as well. More mine shots are going off. Oliveira, he comes in from behind. He pulls the boys. And with good enough target firing, the Stalkers are falling. The Zealots are still doing a lot of damage, don't get me wrong. But it looks like Oliveira should be able to clean this up. It did cost him a lot. 22 SCVs went down. But the army of Spatz has fallen, and he doesn't have a bank to rebuild. Oh, that's the same Widow Mine. We're coming back. Oh, God. Okay, thankfully, Spatz is looking. He shut it down. Good nod of approval. Let's go. does avert disaster. Now, the problem is that, again, Spatz, he had a large army. He had a lot of zealots. Now he doesn't. And he hasn't been able to rebuild them. He has a couple of Archons to his name. He's warping in zealots as we speak, but his army isn't anywhere near as large as it once was. We have a massive anti-armor missile here onto the Archons. Oliveira, oh God, with a massive supply lead, he can take this fight. The anti-armor missile is about to run out. We do have an overcharge on top of this ramp as well. Oliveira just dances with the army. He does force a trigger on that overcharge, but he drags the army in. He drags the army away from that overcharge, tries to focus it down. Oof, as mine shots are going to be going off. And with the death of that overcharge, does Oliveira have enough to break on through? A couple of zealots are trickling on in, but the stutter stepping is good enough. The prism goes down. Oh, we barely do pick up and drop into the main. Mate, a full medevac had barely any HP. That was a risky move from Oliveira, not gonna lie. As Spatz is going for the flank, medevac does go down. But alas, we don't have any blink stalkers. Oliveira able to get out with a good chunk of his army, the majority of the medevacs as well. He is looking to reinforce. Now, Spatz, his probe count isn't looking too bad. It's mainly his army that I'm concerned about. Like, Oliveira still has the advantage. He still has the momentum. To be fair, a lot of these medevacs are running out of energy. They're not as useful as they once were. Oh, does force a stim. But without a prism, we can focus on these Archons. Spatz, though, he sets up a surround. Takes the best fight that he ever could, but it's still not enough. The zealots go down, and now Oliveira, he gets into the juicy core of that army. The immortal hot pickup. Oh my God, Spatz had some cute micro towards the end, but it just wasn't enough. GG gets called, and Oliveira will take the series 2-0. GG. Oh, the pop-off. Hey, Oliveira, he's got places to be, Poppy. Aye. As with that, a very strong, a very powerful start here for Dragon KaiZi Gaming with a 2-0 over Spatz, and that's why I'm a little bit concerned. I do think that this was a good opportunity for a Berserker to cause an upset. I do think that Spatz has it in him to take a game, and there were moments in that series where he had certain advantages, where he had certain leads, 100%. Just wasn't able to fully capitalize on that. Oliveira just fighting tooth and nail. I do think, for example, that fight that happened at the natural base when when Oliveira was forced to pull the boys and when he lost 22 SCVs, if he hadn't done that, if he had just tried to fight with his army, Spatz, I'm pretty sure he would have been able to overwhelm and rake the natural and find himself in a much better position, maybe even take the game itself. So there were a couple of opportunities there, definitely. Regardless, congratulations to Oliveira. And now the pressure is on the owner of Berserker Esports. He was in the chat earlier. I think he may still be in the chat. It is going to be Ferral versus Hero. Oh boy. Ferral, it is going to be his debut here in the WTL, in the World Team League. He is the owner, if I'm not mistaken, of Berserker Esports. I don't know what to expect. I should have asked as well, what is the story here? Like, I'm curious if the other pro players were unavailable and Ferral had to step in, or we're towards the end of the season. We're towards the end of the season, and maybe Ferral was like, yo, I saw Roddy played, I saw Crank had a crack at it as well. Let me in, Poppy. Let me in. Give Ferral the limelight. So I wonder if it was his choice, or again, if he was more of a fill-in. I'm not too sure, Regardless, he's going to be going up against Hero. And I've never casted Ferral before. Like, we've casted amateur players on this channel, like diamond players and platinum players. Like, we used to host amateur events here on this channel very frequently. He's a question mark. Let's zoom into this, Poppy. Question. They don't even give him any stats, no numbers, Poppy. Aye. They even gave numbers to Roddy, as well as Crank as well. They gave them some stats. Mate, they could have just looked them up on SC2 Pulse. Aye. Oh my god, I love it. Just a solid question mark under his score. They're like, who the hell is this guy? They don't even know he's the owner, I'm sure. They're like, Oh my god. Let's go, Poppy. Let's go. So again, Ferral looking to take advantage of his anonymity. Of course, no one knows what he's gonna do, and that really he can leverage that. He can use that to his advantage. He's gonna come out. He's gonna pull the. I don't even know what race he is. I don't, is he Protoss? Is he Zerg? He feels like a Protoss. I'm gonna hinge on Protoss, but we'll see. Oh my god. See, so I played against Ferral once. It was epic. Okay, Zerg. Okay. Fair enough. Shout out to the chat letting us know. I saw parting loose to a diamond player, so anything can happen. True. That did happen. Upsets can happen. Of course, as we're getting into this game. And here we go, spawning in the top left-hand corner for Berserker Esports. It's the owner. It is Ferral. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have, representing KaiZi Gaming, it is Hero. And Hero, he doesn't know what he's in for. Oh my god. As we have a gas first opener here from Ferral. Oh, let's go, Poppy. Mate, I was about to say, he looks like he's in a gym. He's got a bench next to him, behind him. Let's go. Yo, Ferral getting ready to flex on his opponent. Getting ready to get his pump on. Oh, you love to see it. Hero, he doesn't know. He doesn't know what he's in for. I don't know either. So this is going to be a gas full opener. So very aggressive start here from Ferral. To quickly talk about his build, with this opener, he is going to have an abundance of gas, of course. He can rush into Ling speed. He can go for a Bane bust as well, or he can go for a fast Roach Warren. The world is his oyster. Hero comes in with a Probe Scout, does confirm the lack of hatchery. He confirms the faster spawning pool and the faster gas geyser, and Hero responds with, I believe that was a second gateway as a part of the wall. Was it a 2 gateway? Did my eyes? Yeah. It is the second gateway. So a really sensible response here from Hero. He's walling off at the natural, going for a 2-gate opener. Going to be delaying his Nexus here. Make sure he takes it seriously. He's looking for a proxy hatch as well. So Hero's on notice. You know, he's terrified. He's scared. I would be too. He's feral. He's crazy. He's an animal. As Hero even chronos out that first Zealot as well. Meanwhile, Link speed is on the way. If we look at the income, we can see that Ferral is still mining gas. So we have Link speed. Are we going to throw down a Bailey nest behind this? That's what I'm feeling for the time being. As more Lings are in production, we're cutting drones. The probe is still alive. Is going to get a rescout of the main base. We have a lot of gas. We still are not using it. I'm feeling a Bailey nest, but maybe not. Maybe we have something else. Fast lair. We don't really have the worker count for that. As the first two adepts are going to be moving out across. Now the boys are being pulled. Oh my god. Okay. Why were we mining the gas? I don't know. But the boys are being pulled as we speak. Oh, but the adepts are cleaning up these Lings as well. They're shading into the main base. They're going to be getting eyes on this, and we're not even pulling all the boys. Where are the boys going? They're okay. They're going to be going the long way around the map. Oh, the economy, though, of Ferral is being crippled as we speak. Drones are falling left and right. Ferral mustering up his army across the map. He's getting ready to drone drill. No, he's mining the minerals. Let's go. I was assuming that he was gonna drone drill past the Zealot, but no, he's mining those minerals. He's pulling a Silky, as Silky did use this to great effect against Creator a couple of weeks ago. Maybe Ferral was watching, as he does bust into the natural base. Shield battery is done. Adepts are in position. Oh my god, that's a lot of adepts, and I love the idea. We've seen it work before, especially against these top tier Protoss players, but alas, against the wall of adepts, Hero has too much. Ferral loses the majority of his Lings. He has another wave behind this, but we have an overcharge as well. If things get hairy, we do have the overcharge available for Hero. Meanwhile, every drone has gone down across the map, and oh, there's one. No, the last drone of Ferral goes down. GG gets called with a little bit of a smirk. And Hero will take game number 1. Let's go, Papa. Yo, is that an alcoholic beverage? Can we show that? Hero going for his own drink. Man, we need a stiff one after that, not gonna lie. Oh my god. Yeah, pretty wild game number 1. I love the idea. We have seen it work before, specifically both Silky and Tudming, the starving camels. Silky and Tudming have done that and actually won with it in a WTL in the past. I believe it was Silky versus Creator, or was it Tudming versus Creator? It was on Near Humanity regardless, and yeah, I do love the idea behind it. Unfortunately, Hero was able to not necessarily scout it, but be overly prepared. Like, Hero, like a lot of us, I'm sure, had no idea what was about to happen, so he was just playing very safe. He got his Zealot out, he scouted with his probe, shield battery as well. Like, he was very prepared for any kind of aggression to come his way, and yeah, as a result, he was able to take game number 1. Oof. But it is going to be Ferral's map pick, and he's going for Gresvan. Alright, here we go. Gresvan, one of the larger maps in the map pool. Not the largest, of course, that goes to maps like Altitude and maps like Ancient Cistern, but a large map nonetheless. There are quite a lot of common proxy locations. Why am I talking about? He's a Zerg player. But my brain was still thinking Protoss. So, yeah, interesting choice, Gresvan. So, okay. Proxy hatch. Proxy hatches are actually quite common on Gresvan because there's no ramp coming into the natural, because the natural itself has a really wide open area as the entry point. Dark. If you want to study, if you want to learn how to proxy hatch, Dark is the one to go for. He has used this to heal Classic, he's used it to kill Hero, and based on game 1, I'm feeling it here for Ferral. But here we go, spawning in at the top left hand corner of Gresvan, we have for Berserker Esports, Ferral. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Gresvan, we have for Dragon KaiZi Gaming, it is Hero. God damn, and the hatchery's at home. I got myself hyped up. I was like, let's go, Bobby. It's all coming together. It makes sense. The proxy hatch. Alas, no proxy hatches here in game 2. Ferral going for an interesting opener. This was a 14 hatch by... Oh my god. He's going ghastly. He's crazy. This was a 14-14 3 hatch before pool. It's been a hot minute since I've seen this. It's been a while. Okay, let's go. So we're going to be going gas. This is a very greedy opener here from Ferral. Going for, I believe that was a 14-13, if I'm not mistaken. 14 hatch, and then a 13 pool. Yeah. So with this, there's some pros and cons, obviously. Now, we have a lot of we're going to have a lot of lava to work with. We're going to have a lot of bases to work with, of course. The downside is how delayed your gas is. Because of that, we're not going to be hitting like a crisp timing with Ling's speed. We're going to be relying a lot on slow Lings and Queens to defend. I'm really curious to see how Hero approaches this, if at all. I don't even think has he scattered the third? I know he scattered the natural. He may have come across the third base as well. Regardless, 6. Wait. We're going for a gasless opener into a slow Ling flood. He's lost his mind, Papi. Let's go. He'll never, to be fair, Hero would never expect this. Or would he? I don't know. I don't know what shenanigans Hero experiences on the ladder. I love this. Okay, Ferral, he has to keep these Lings hidden. Up. He does pull back, and no, the Lings, they've been scouted. Ferral was trying to keep them hidden for as long as he could, but the jig is up. Hero is now aware of the Ling flood, and he should be getting ready back at home. Lings are going to be thwarted here. The wall is soon to be up and running. We have a second adept on the way. The probe running alongside the Lings. You love to see it. He's one with the pack, one with the people. The adept did make it back home, of course. We have good surface area here on some of these buildings. Oof. But these adepts are going to do so much damage from their side of the wall. So many Lings are going down. It looks like we may be able to bust through the upper gateway. And Hero, he recognizes that. He goes for a second wall behind it. Does cancel in time. But the Lings are busting on in a little bit. They are wreaking havoc here. Are chipping away at that second Cybercore. Speaking of Cybercore, they're going to be able to get us around on the first one. But the shield battery finishes. We're going to be able to keep the Cybercore alive. Sentry comes out as well for some force fields. And Hero has held. Hero is going to be able to hold on second. Shield battery finishes up as well. Ferral is desperately trying to kill that Cybercore. And can he get it? No, we have an overcharge as well. Hero refuses to let it die. He refuses to give Ferral an inch. as that Cybercore will survive the gateway as well. We are running out of steam. We are running out of lings. I appreciate the effort. I definitely do. It was a lot of good fun. My 48 lings. And it was a shame that Hero saw it, right? Imagine if Ferral were able to keep those lings hidden from his opponent. Imagine if he was able to preserve them and keep this a surprise. Then we would have had a different game. But Hero's scratching his head. 62 lings. GG. Well played gets called. And well played gets typed back as well. As Ferral does tap out and Hero takes the series 2-0. I'm loving that cheeky smile from Hero. He's like, it looks like he's like, the hell just happened? But a shout out to Ferral. Much love, much love. Oh my god, massive shout out to Ferral. It's great to see that he was a part of WTL. He was able to fight for his team. He was able to fight alongside his players as well. It's something that not too many owners can say that they've done, or team owners can say that they've done. So a lot of love to Ferral. He's always in the chat as well, dropping by whenever he can, showing some support for the Ducklings, showing some support for even my personal channel at times. So much love to Ferral, and GG, well played. As a result, KaiZi Gaming, they're going to be able to take the series 4-0. They will take the series in the end, but we're not done, and I'm excited because I know we've been having some fun, and we were having, we weren't as serious with Ferral versus Hero, but DIMAGA versus Jieshi, this is a matchup. This is actually competitive. We're massive fans of DIMAGA here. I love Papi DIMAGA so much. He can work wonders in ZVP, not just against Protoss, against Terran. I do think he has a really good shot here to actually put some points on the board and fight back against Jieshi. Now, in saying that, Jieshi has also been on the rise. He's also been getting some really good results as well. I do think both these players are peaking right now. They're peaking in their form at the moment. So this is going to be a really interesting clash that we're going to be seeing. I'm feeling a 1-1. I want a 2-0 for DIMAGA, but yeah, regardless, I do think this is going to be very competitive, and I'm ready for it. I'm ready, Papi. Let's go. Catching up in the chat. Maybe we can get a Dave game for Berserker in WTL. Oh, right, Dave, he's on Berserker Esports. I forgot about that. I don't know if I want to cast that, I'll be honest. I've been scarred for life. True, mate. The upset was real here. You know what? I apologize. Hero, that stunned look that he had on his face wasn't the look of him being confused. That was a look of him surprising that he even won. He's like, oh, I did it. I brought down Ferral. Something that no one else in WTL has done before. An unclaimed title, an unclaimed feat. So really a massive shout out to Hero. Something that I'm sure he will remember to the end of his days. GG. GG, well played. Let's go, Papi, let's go. Getting built from Lorimbo? Does Lorimbo do that? Oh god. Not like this, not like this. Have my babies, Ferral. Let's go. Regardless, we do still have this one matchup before us, and I guess talking about the players here for a moment, I was just catching up with the chat, just catching up. That didn't oh, Ferral, GG, Papi, GG. Ferral rocking up in the chat. Well played, man, well played. Good effort, good effort. It was a very entertaining series, very entertaining. I appreciate it, definitely. As we're getting ready here for DIMAGA vs Jieshi, we're diving straight on in. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Gressfarm, we have, from the land of Ukraine, representing Berserker Esports, DIMAGA. Spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the Chinese Protoss player for KaiZi Gaming. It is Jieshi. Here we go. And I'm ready for it. So DIMAGA, he is the king of the mid-game. He is the king of 70 drones. I love it. DIMAGA, especially in ZVP, more often than not, I mean, so As a bit of a criticism, he does have a very predictable style, but when it comes to praise, even if his opponent knows what he's doing, DIMAGA has some of the best execution here of 3-base all-ins. I say 3-base, basically DIMAGA, he gets 3 bases up and running, he gets 3 bases saturated with 66 to 70 workers, gets a 4th base for Oliveira, and he just pumps out nothing but Ling, Bane, Roach, Ravager. And we have seen him go toe-to-toe with the best Protoss players in the world and bring them to their knees. Even Maru as well. I'm always bringing it back to a couple of weeks ago where DIMAGA faced off against Maru in WTL and almost beat him on Ancient Cistern where he had a massive lead. The comeback from Maru was really insane, but like again, DIMAGA, he like showing us that he can get into a commanding position even against a player like Maru shows us that, you know, he's a player worth respecting and a player worth keeping an eye on as well. Again, we're also kind of fans because we cast him a lot. So yeah, I'm really excited for this. On the flip side of things, of course, Jieshi likewise has been getting a lot of really good results recently. Last week, Jieshi did go toe-to-toe with Clem in WTL. Did take a map, I said take a map. I want to say it was even in an ESL Open Cup as well. He did go the distance here against Clem. It's a different matchup, to be fair. I do think that Jieshi does really excel in PvT. Against a Zerg player, though, we'll see. We'll see what he can bring to the table. For the time being, there's going to be a Stargate opener coming out from Jieshi. Nothing too crazy, nothing too wild, is to be expected. Unlike Creator, the player that we saw earlier, I expect to be seeing Oracles into +1 into Blink Stalkers. We shouldn't be seeing this kind of more passive defensive style where we delay the Twilight Council for a Forge and for Robo and for Immortal production. That is only reserved for Creator and Showtime. Those are like the only two that do that sort of thing. And even then, Showtime does it a little bit differently as well. So that PvZ that we casted earlier was very unique to Creator. It was a PvZ between Creator and Solar, of course. Jieshi going to be a lot more standard. Meanwhile, ooh, this Adept doing a decent amount of damage, does force a Spore and get 1 drone kill, abusing the high ground there at that cliff face. Does rain down on the 3rd base, and yeah, not a bad start, but he has to be careful not to lose this Adept. It does take quite a bit of hull damage. The reason why we don't want to lose the Adept is because we are really working with as minimal units as possible here in the early game of PvZ. We need these Adepts not just to harass, but also to actually hold on to that 3rd base. Ooh, as the Lings have arrived and the Oracle is forced to turn around, the Adept is so very low, the Probe is going to be going down, and the 3rd base is delayed. So already a good start for DIMAGA, already throwing a wrench in the works, just slowing down his opponent. Not the biggest of deals, but I mean, he reciprocates the damage, right? He lost a drone earlier, now he kills a probe. Kills a probe and delays a 3rd. Not too bad. Meanwhile, the Oracles have joined forces. The 2nd Oracle comes out. We're going to be moving out across the map as we speak. 2 Oracles can one-shot a drone, so bear that in mind. They are quite deadly when combined, and they are looking for those drones. Oh, they do catch a couple of transferring workers. Oh, a little bit of miscontrol, though. He only gets 1. In the run-by, he's going to get a couple more here at the 3rd base. 4 drones go down. Not too bad, but he does take a lot of hull damage. Those Oracles are deep in the yellow, as we have a 3rd Oracle on the way. So Jieshi just really hammering down on that Oracle production, and honestly, it makes a lot of sense. Oracles, they provide so much utility here to the Protoss army when it comes to protecting the Stalkers against Lings, when it comes to throwing down stasis traps as well, defensively or even offensively. Meanwhile, the Oracles, they dive into the main base. They haven't gone into the mineral line yet, but they are going to be threatening it. Meanwhile, good catch from DIMAGA. He does shut down a couple of those Adepts. Meanwhile, the Oracles do dive in, and we get another couple of workers here. 3 more drones. Not too bad. Lings do rock up, but the shield battery finishes up just in time, and yeah, DIMAGA, these Lings won't be able to find too much damage, are going to be forced back. Meanwhile, there is Blink on the way. We should be seeing +1. I'm pretty sure we already have a Forge, so +1 just a little bit delayed here for Jieshi. Getting into that Robo as well, and yeah, this is as standard of a PvZ we can get. For the most part. There's that gateway explosion behind this as well. Again, Jieshi, as soon as those gateways do kick in, he's going to be looking to vie for map control. Or will he? We can kind of approach this in a couple of different ways. We can try to be as active as possible with Blink and +1 and be in the face of the Zerg players. Oh no, it looks like we lost the camera of DIMAGA. Smooch. We can be very active with it. or we can go for a more defensive style. We can see, you know, we have a wall of gateways already at the third base. We can try and take a fourth, and we can throw down robos, and yep, that's what it is. We're going to be skipping warp-ins. We have a bay on the way. We're going to be going into Colossi. So this is a slower way to play this out. Even though we have Blink, and even though we're about to have Blink and +1, we're not really going to commit to any kind of major push. We can still be active, and we can still vie for map control and clean up creep, but for the most part, Jieshi is going to be more defensive. He should be working towards a fourth base, a second robo, and double Colossus production. There's that fourth. Still no second robo, unless I'm mistaken, unless I missed it. But yeah, we don't see that quite yet. We're actually going for a Templar Archives first. Oh, meanwhile, the Lings, they get a full surround on this fourth base. They're looking for a cancel, and they're not quite going to get it. The Oracles were in position. Lings are forced back. There's the first Colossi on the way. We have Extended Thermal Lance. We do have the Templar Archives for Archons. So the reason why I said a second robo is because typically the timing that the Protoss player would want to go for in this position is either you push out with 2 Colossi or with 4 Colossi. Those are the 2 power spikes here for the Protoss and PvZ. Because we only have 1 robo, this is a little bit peculiar out of Jieshi. This is a little bit different. It does mean that it's going to take longer for him to really get into a high enough Colossus count to be active. So I'm curious if he plans to be active at all. Maybe he's looking for a more defensive style and looking for a later game, which would make sense now that I think about it. As soon as I say that, we were talking about it, right? Like DIMAGA, he usually cuts workers earlier on, he usually stays on a lower drone count, and he focuses on Roach, Ravager, Lingbane production. But we're seeing a very different DIMAGA. Hey, yo, that camera turning off is a little bit sus. But we're droning up even further than 70. We're teching up as well. It looks like, I mean, it makes sense. DIMAGA, he's recognized that his opponent is being very passive and very defensive. And I'm sure Jieshi wants DIMAGA to push into him. I'm sure he wants to fight on his terms. And DIMAGA doesn't want to give that to him, as we see a massive stage trap going off on these Ravagers. Overcharge as well, going to be forcing DIMAGA back. But again, DIMAGA, upon seeing this, I'm sure he's like, okay, you're being hyper defensive. I'm not going to play into you. I'm going to be taking up instead. We have a Hive on the way. We have a Hydrogen as well. It looks like DIMAGA is working towards Lurkers. Oof, as a lot of these Ravagers are going to be going down, and maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. That is a big loss for DIMAGA, and that is going to trigger a counterattack. Jieshi has a supply lead, has an army lead right now. He can move out, and it looks like he will. I was like, is he going to back off? No, he is going to push on forward. DIMAGA is in a bit of trouble. After losing all those Ravagers, suddenly his army is very vulnerable. Oh, as Jieshi is pushing on forward. No Ravagers to speak of. Jeshi's going to be able to lay siege upon the center base from the low ground. This hatchery is going to be going down. Thankfully, in a way, Jeshi's kind of wasting time here. Like, he may get the base itself, but at least DIMAGA has time to build up some Ravagers and get ready here on top of the ramp. As here we go, the army does blink up the ramp. We do have a couple of force fields. We have very limited Ravagers, but it looks like the force fields will be knocked down. Third Colossus does rock up, and can DIMAGA get on top of them with these ults? It looks like he cannot. Oof. Again, Jieshi trading pretty efficiently, but for a moment there, the Colossi weren't really taking part, but it looks like, nah, he has enough on the ground. He's breaking on through. DIMAGA losing all those Ravagers earlier was just one mistake too many. It was a massive mistake. GG gets called, and Jieshi will take game number 1. GG. Sometimes one mistake is all it takes, and for DIMAGA to drop in supply so heavily, for him to lose not just his Roaches, but every single Ravager. He lost every single one of his Ravagers across the map. As soon as that happened, bam. You know, Jieshi, he goes for the counterattack, he goes for his push, and DIMAGA had very little time to respond, had very little time to remax, had very little time to build back up his army. Things escalated very quickly in favor of Jieshi. And unfortunately as well, DIMAGA, he was taking up, right? He was working towards a Hive, he was working towards a Hydrogen as well, an Infestation Pit, of course, because of the Hive. DIMAGA just wasn't ready for that, and caught exposed, caught vulnerable, caught with his pants down. And now we're getting into the final game of the series. Of course, KaiZi Gaming, they still will win this matchup overall. They will still win this Team League match, but DIMAGA can still put a point on the board. He can still fight back, I believe. His map of choice, it's the DIMAGA map. It is Ancient Cistern. This is where he's the most comfortable. This is where he can really come into his own. The bases are much more spread out. They're much more open. They're less defensible compared to Gressvan. Gressvan, you know, because of all the ramps, because of all the choke points, it can be more difficult to really assert yourself and be the aggressor like DIMAGA usually is. So, looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to DIMAGA wanting to borrow my wristband. Not like this, Papi. Throwing him under the bus as here we go in the top right-hand corner of Ancient Cistern for Berserker Esports, DIMAGA. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner for Dragon KaiZi Gaming, we have Jieshi. Here we go. Alright, Ancient Cistern. It is DIMAGA's map of choice and his map period. This is where he really does thrive the most. It's where we've seen him take it to the best of them, take it to Creator, take it to Maru. This is where DIMAGA can cook. You know, he can make some magic happen. And we'll see if Jieshi can keep up with him here. I'm also curious if he's going to change up his style. Overall, the outlook, the game plan of Jieshi in Game 1, I think was really smart. I think it was really smart. It was, again, very defensive overall. He was waiting for his opponent to push into him before he did commit to a counterattack. He was waiting to absorb the energy of his opponent before moving out. And unfortunately, I assume that DIMAGA recognized that and he was, you know, preparing for that. And that's why he was taking up so much. It was just very unfortunate that he ran into a stasis trap, and Jieshi immediately capitalized on that. He dove on the army, dove on the Ravagers, and as we saw, the game did kind of end then and there. So I'm sure DIMAGA is going to be a little bit more on notice when it comes to that, and a little bit more prepared. As we are just going to be forced to take the natural. Third base is being taken as natural here for DIMAGA, which is kind of what we expect to be seeing. Unfortunately, there was no 14 hatch or 15 hatch opener here from our Zerg player. Just going to make things a little bit more awkward here in the early game. Meanwhile, from the side of Jieshi, again, I don't really expect him to change things up too much. I think he found a lot of success in Game 1, and I think there's no reason not to try and continue that play style. The other option, of course, on Ancient Cistern is that we could try to rush into Skytoss, which I think that's a bold move against DIMAGA just because of his aggressive nature. I think it would be ill-advised. I think if you're up against someone who's maybe a little bit more greedy or willing to be more passive, then I think you can do that and pull that off. Against DIMAGA, you will be playing with fire. As we are just diving into this third base being taken. Nothing too crazy. It is going to be a Stargate opener from Jieshi, as we expected. Should be for Oracles. Multiple as well. Wouldn't be surprised if he goes up to 3 once again. Oh, never mind. Interesting. Okay, Jieshi, you have my attention. That is not an Oracle. That is a Void Ray first instead. A Tumor does get sniped, but oh, the Adept will go down. That will mean that the third base of Jieshi is going to be under threat, but he may not go for one. Oh boy, this is Glaives! Oh, he's dirty. So, it's a Void Ray opener. The point of this Void Ray is to deny scouting, is to shut down the Overlord and keep DIMAGA in the dark. He goes straight to a Twilight Council, he throws down 3 more gates. This is going to be 4 gate Glaive Adepts. This is a very dangerous, a very deadly build here from Jieshi, especially if DIMAGA drones up too much, especially if he doesn't recognize what's going on. As the Void Ray does reveal itself. Show us the Glaives. We do see... did DIMAGA just cancel the Roach Warren? Uh-oh. Did he? I'm concerned. Something was cancelled, and I did see a Roach Warren on the production tab earlier. DIMAGA, for the time being, he's droning. Oh, he's droning quite a lot. There's Glaives on the way. We have a third base being thrown down. DIMAGA does have eyes on the third, and really this is supposed to throw him off. This is looking like a normal opener. This is looking standard. An Adept is going to be going down. DIMAGA is doing some nice damage here, but he's droning, Papi. He's droning. Which is still okay. You can drone up to, I think the cap is around 50. We don't want to drone up more than that. but I do think he did cancel the Roach Warren, which is dangerous. More glaives are being morphed in as we speak. Robo on the way as well. We are banking up this adept count. Now, to be fair, thankfully, this isn't all in. This isn't like a 6-gate glaive adept, for example. But regardless, this is still designed to do damage. It's not committed, just supposed to cripple or you know, again, hinder the economy of the Zerg player. Unfortunately, no Baneliness, no Roach Warren. This is catching DIMAGA completely off guard. Roach Warren just now starts at the 5-minute 30 mark, which is typically okay. It's a little bit greedy, to be honest. I'm sorry, it's greedy to delay it for that long. But the Adepts have revealed themselves. What is there on the ground to defend? We have some Queens. We have a handful of Lings. Drones are dying. This could snowball out of control. This is getting out of hand already. 8 drones go down. No mining at the natural base whatsoever. We're chasing down drones here in the main base as well. This is just getting out of hand. DIMAGA misread the situation, cancelled his Roach Warren, thought it was a standard opener. But alas, it was anything but, as the Adepts are still wreaking havoc. They get into the third base. We get a surround with the Lings, but not the best surface area here on these Adepts. It looks like we should be able to clean this up, but the damage has been done. 14 drones have already gone down. And counting. Oh, as we have more Adepts here at the fourth base. 2 Adepts are going to be distracting the Lynx here in the main. DIMAGA's economy is crippled at this point, and we're not even done. More drones are falling. Ay. Not like this, Papi, not like this. DIMAGA, he's down to 36 workers. And Jieshi, even if he loses all of his Adepts now, and he will, like, he's already done more than enough. Back at home, he's got his third base up and running. He's working on charge. He's working on +1. Working on his gateway explosion. He has his Void Ray defensively back at home as well. And as DIMAGA moves out, more Adepts move in. Yeah, immediately DIMAGA, he has to turn back around. Jieshi looking to buy time, looking to force a reaction out of DIMAGA, keep his Lings back at home, and get even more drone kills. Oof. Okay, this is a build that rose in popularity maybe 2 months ago. In the aftermath of IEM Katowice, this build has been working its way through the pro scene, and it is disgusting. It's dirty. Because again, it's designed to look normal, as the baneling run by is going to get caught out. It doesn't get into the mineral line. It's designed to trick your opponent. It's designed to play with the meta and make it look like a Stargate opener into a Twilight Council, into Blink, into +1. The Glaive Adepts are the last thing you expect to see. And yeah, this is a good example of what happens when the Zerg player just assumes, makes a bunch of assumptions, and unfortunately cut too many corners as well. Oof. And with that, Jeshi's coming in with his charges. He's coming in to close the deal. We have some good SimCity here from DIMAGA. He's going to be able to make use of this Evo Chamber and make use of this choke point. I do think that maybe is Jieshi overextending. I don't know if he has enough to break his opponent, but here we go. The Archon rocks up, and with the help of the Archon, with these reinforcing zealots, Jieshi may just barely have enough. It's getting quite close here. Again, I don't think this push was necessary. Oh god. As Jieshi is trading efficiently enough, the Void Ray barely survives as well. He's getting on top of the Queens. The Void Ray goes down, but it looks like, yeah, the Charged Archon barely breaks on through. Jieshi has done it. He has broken the third. He's once again getting on top of the economy. Lings and Roaches are trickling on in, but this has already paid for itself. And then some. As GG is going to get called, and Jieshi takes a series 2-0. Cleaning it up here for his team, for Dragon KaiZi Gaming. GG. A very solid performance here from Dragon KaiZi Gaming. They did come in as the favorites, of course. They do have a team of some of the best players in the world. I do think that DIMAGA versus Jieshi was had the potential to be a much more closer series, but game 2 was heartbreaking. Like, as a Zerg player, like I've seen many a solid Zerg player fall to that. Solar, Dark, they've all fallen prey to this build in the past, especially when it first hit the field, especially when it was first making its rounds. I want to say like 2 months ago, maybe just over that. And Yeah, it has claimed the lives of many Zerg players. It killed Cham as well in WTL. In WTL, it did kill Cham on altitude. I will always remember that. As that does wrap up round 10, the second last round of the tournament. Now we have a look at the standings. Top 7 are going to be making it into the playoffs, and so far we've got Onside, Basilisk, KaiZi Gaming, Team Liquid, Abydos, the Starving Camels, and Shopify. They are the current top 7 teams. But we have 1 week left. We have 1 week left for teams like Platinum Heroes, for Sidestorm Gaming, for some of these other lower teams to fight their way back up and somehow overcome and dethrone Shopify and the Starving Camels. It is still not clear-cut. It is still not set in stone. The playoff bracket can still change, and a lot of pressure is going to be on the shoulders here of Platinum Heroes, of Sidestorm, of even Shopify and Starving Camels. Like, if they lose their matches, then it gives the opportunity for some of these other teams to rise up. So best of luck here to, I actually don't think Sidestorm can make it through, but Platinum Heroes is really close. So best of luck to all these teams, as we have 1 week left in the round robin group stage, and that's going to be next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Oh, hold on. I got you covered. Bam. There we go. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. 3 days in a row. 3 days of StarCraft. 3 days of World Team League. Make sure you're a part of it. Make sure you follow the Twitch channel. Make sure you follow us on YouTube. Make sure you follow us, just period. Everywhere we go. As we're going to be live here on this channel, as we always are, every single week, every single time. And yeah, with that, thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching as well. We appreciate the support. Shout out to Steadfast, as Steadfast did give us a raid earlier. I hope everything was okay. I don't think we got an answer to that. I don't know if Steadfast, something came up, or maybe he was tired after casting in the morning. I don't really know. But I hope everything is okay. As we did get a big raid earlier. And yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in, for supporting us, and hope everyone enjoyed the broadcast. I hope everyone enjoyed the matches themselves. Massive shout out to all the teams, all the players. A special shout out to Ferral in the chat as well, because it is not too often where the owner of the team steps into the ring and fights off against some of these other pro players. So yeah, really impressive stuff. Shout out to Ferral. Massive shout out. Entertaining games. Entertaining. GG. GG, well played. Oof. Meanwhile, where's the I don't have this set up. Hold on. Un momento, papi, un momento. I need to also today I did this all on my own. Usually we have someone handling the production. Usually I have Kuro. We have Kuro here handling the production, but alas, she was unavailable today, so I did have to run this on my own. So a little bit stressful. On top of that, I also didn't have a co-caster today either. Feels bad, man. Feels bad. Both Yaku, Kuro, as well as Asher were unavailable, but I'm sure we'll have more of them later on in the week. If you want some more StarCraft action, if you want some more CranKy Duckling action, then we're going to be live tomorrow. Tomorrow in less than 24 hours with ESL Open Cup Asia. That is your weekly dose of Korean StarCraft. Not just Korean, but other players get involved as well because of the new time zone, of the new time slot of ESL Open Cup Asia. We even have some Europeans take part as well, so it's a lot of good fun. Make sure you're there, again, in less than 24 hours. It is at 6 p.m. KST, if you're interested. Meanwhile, the day after that, we have ESL Open Cup Americas. The day after that, we have Kung Fu Cup. The day after that, we have ESL Masters Summer replay cast, and then we get into WTL. Again, we're usually live every single day, sometimes multiple times a day as well. If you want some StarCraft, we got you covered on the CranKy Ducklings. We were live even earlier today with the KSL, with the Korean StarCraft League. Something that we take pride in. We are, of course, the casting channel out there that is live the most. We've clocked in more hours than Wardy, Steadfast, Behemoth. That's something that we try to work hard. That's all we got going for us. We got ducks and we got hours. That's all we got. So yeah, if you're interested, hit that follow button. We got plenty of StarCraft here available to you. Unfortunately, we don't get to cast a lot of European events. We don't get to cast too many European events, just because I'm here in Australia. here in we gotta sleep. We have to sleep at some point. That's the reality of the situation. So yeah, we don't get to cast ESL Open Cup EU or some of the other European events. So that's where the other casters, they got you covered. They got you covered for that. Meanwhile, thanks for watching. Thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for the support. I do also stream throughout the week as well on my personal channel whenever I can. Yeah, I do my best to find some time. I was actually laddering earlier today. I only got to play 2 games. I started streaming like an hour before the broadcast, and I didn't really get too much time to myself. But maybe tomorrow, maybe. It's difficult just because we're live so often, but will do my best to squeeze in some ladder sessions if you're interested in that sort of thing. I'm also playing through Diablo 4 with Asher. We're still working through the campaign. Hopefully we can finish it soon. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Outside of that, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for the support. ! Socials in the chat if you're interested in following us on some of the social medias. We're on Discord, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on YouTube. We're on Patreon as well. If you want to support us monetarily, then Patreon is the place to do it. You can see us just under there. You can see us just under over there. Our goal on Patreon, the money that we spend each month, of course, is 300 USD, and it is to fund our tournaments. We do host events for some of the smaller regions out there, like the NA region, Latin America, Oceania, Southeast Asia, as well as like Taiwan and Hong Kong and smaller regions like that. So we do host a lot of events. We're trying to do our part, and our Patreon is set up to fund those events. So if you're interested in supporting some of those smaller regions, then consider checking out the Patreon. We're a third of the way there. We're just over a third of the way there. So we always appreciate it. We always appreciate all the patrons that we do have, and we provide replay packs as well to all of our subscribers and patrons as well. So thank you so much. We appreciate it. With that, gonna be heading off for the night. Gonna go get some food. I'm gonna go pass out. I'm tired. So tired. Thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for the support. Stick around. We're gonna be raiding another StarCraft 2 streamer. Who is live right now? Who can we raid? Who can we send our love to, our support to? Typically we raid smaller streamers. I know Wardy is live right now. I know Take is live. Oh, we know. I know who I'm gonna raid. Stick around. We're gonna be giving a raid to Lorimbo. Lorimbo is live. The Italian stallion himself, the star of Home Story Cup, the devil on Eba's shoulder. Este Lorimbo. So stick around. We're gonna be giving him a raid. Give him some love. Give him some support. Until then, thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you guys tomorrow for ESL Open Cup Asia.